start. And Kimberly's here. Alrighty. Got the stream going. Welcome, everybody. If you are brand new to the stream, never been on a Tuesday 30 minutes of awesome session with me, make sure you give me a shout out in the chat. I'd love to welcome you. And I was just talking about, this is what downtown Knoxville looked like yesterday. And it got worse than this. This was before it got dark, and it kept on snowing until like 1 in the morning. It was amazing. It was supposed to be real bad last week. This epic winter storm, whatever. Nothing happened here. I mean, the rain went through before the cold got here, and it was like a non-event. It was just cold, stupid cold, and stayed below freezing for 4 days. And then yesterday we were supposed to have some light flurries on your commute home. No big deal. Shouldn't cause any problems. Well, there were people going off the streets everywhere. I mean, it was a horrible crap show. The boss and my daughter both had to park at the middle school and walk home. So, yeah. I mean, it's like 42 degrees out right now. It's all melted off. It's nice. It was sunny all afternoon. It was great. So, yeah, it doesn't snow here much. So this town freaks out. There are a lot of people shouldn't have been out that were trying to go places. So this is our last session of 2022. Crazy, right? Where did the year go? All 52 weeks of it. Boom. I look forward to doing 52 more weeks of this in 2023. You got me. We're going to look at the tea leaves and see what we got. Actually, we're just going to look at the charts. I mean, long and the short of it. So before we jump into it, let's get started. And disclaimer, all trading involves a substantial risk of loss. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of the future results, This presentation right here is informational, educational, and fun. And I'm not really recommending to buy or sell any financial instrument, so don't take it as a recommendation. If you desire that personal financial advice, go consult a financial advisor, hire them, pay them to give you their expert advice. So we got this calendar coming up. We've got this week, not a ton of stuff cooking for the last few days of the year here. Friday, last trading day of the year, of the quarter, of the week, of the month. It's the last day. Make sure that if you got stuff to close, you need to get it closed because you got to have it booked by Friday. So if you want to do any kind of tax harvesting, I think that was the probably the overarching thing of the day, why it was kind of down. Anybody that needed to tax harvest was doing so today. Then we have next week, another bank holiday on Monday, so more of the same, kind of like this week. We got a 4-day week again next week. Then the week after that, it's our first full week of trading. Then the week after that is another short week with Martin Luther King Day. So we got some funky days coming in, but we do have a bunch of red market moving data next week coming in. So be careful next week. And so that's kind of the calendar. This is one of my favorite places, forexfactory.com/calendar. As far as keeping up with the financial calendars, this one is the most complete worldwide calendar that I know of. And why Forex Factory? Well, like I said, it's the most complete worldwide calendar of all the different, since it's a Forex thing, Forex is international currency trading, they tend to keep track of all the different things all over the world. So if you want to know about any kind of news coming out in the week, go check out that right there. Now there's other ones available. So big news of the week so far, it looks like we potentially made a bottom last Thursday. Friday coming a little higher, and today coming a little higher. Even though the market seemed like it was down all day, well, it was this S5FI, the stocks above the 50-day moving average, slowly creeping up on us. Now, I have been kind of speculating, postulating that we could see, we'll talk about this chart here in a minute. We'll come back to it. I need to jump up to the red list and down here to the S5FI right there. So what I was kind of talking about for a couple weeks now. So let's make sure we zoom this the right way. Back here in 2020, when we came off the peak after hanging out at the bottom so long, we ramped right up to the peak, came off the peak, dropped into the mid 40s, and then chopped in this area as we went to new all-time high. So that's the same kind of pattern we potentially have cooking right now. We spent a nice long time down here. We shot up, reversed off. We've pulled back to the mid 40s, and potentially we're going to chop around this area as we move to an all-time new high. Now, why do I think all-time new high? Because we are at epic bearishness right now. Something like 70% of market traders think that we're going to have a worse 2023 than we had 2022. And that was like the Wall Street Journal poll. That's not even like, some poll you've never heard of. That's like the Wall Street Journal did this poll. And 70% of the traders think that we're going to have a worse 2023 than we had 2022. That is epic bearishness, all right? We're not at the bottom. We're up here above the 50% line on this. We can easily shoot back up in this area and chop right in here, at least for 3 or 4 months, and make it out to an all-time new high. That's crazy to think right now after the year we're just about to digest, but it works. Like, it works in the chart. It works in the psychology. I mean, look at this. We're holding the support. We've held the support zone for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 trading days now, and touched right into the bullseye that I put in Discord. Like, I added this little bullseye area for my Discord followers. We touched right in there on Thursday, and then we traded above it today. So this is kind of my path forward. We are under the roadmap line, so I do urge caution, but we're above this green box, which can be the bullish bounce point. That's the top of that's the 50% retrace, and the middle of it kind of right down here at the 618. Down here is the 3650 approximately. So we start breaking below 3650. That's when it's game on for a lower low. But until that time, I feel like we are set up for an epic bounce by the Fibonacci pattern that I like to call the measured bounce pattern. This is a giant measured bounce pattern on the daily chart, which can lead to a giant move higher. And the targets are right up here at 45.80, 47.50, which is just shy of a new all-time high. I probably don't. Yeah, I've got them. I probably don't. Well, I do. I have it attached to the low from Thursday. So these are the current levels. Unless we make a lower low, those are the current targets right now. The minimum, we'll probably see 43.76. If this whole move up is bearish, we'll probably stop there and turn down again. This green box is a resistance from back here. I'll pull this over, see where it topped out back here in August. That's why I have this box up here. That can be resistance again. It probably will be. But then that 43.76, excuse me, 43.76, watch out for us to stop there and turn down. That would be a bearish sign that was the top and we're going to go lower. Now, what I do expect though is us to come trucking on up, hit this 47.50, bounce back down, and then bounce out to an all-time new high. So that's my layout for looking into the new year right now. All right, I had one of these giant arrows right here. Copy it over. I had one of those right here that I deleted off. I'm kind of looking for that right there. Looking like that as we move into the new year. Any questions on that before I move on? All right. Looks like everybody's good. All right. So moving on, let's check out Nasdaq real quick. Tech still looking beat down. Like, look at this. This is not the way the S&P is. This thing looks like it may reach down here one more time. Now you might say, Jeffrey, how in the world can the S&P 500 go higher while Nasdaq is going lower? Well, look at this. Nasdaq's near the lows, while S&P 500 is not. Now, if we look over here at the stock heat map, you can see Nasdaq 100. Microsoft, Google, Apple, Amazon, Tesla, Nvidia, a lot of these are dark red, right? But if we check out the S&P index, we got some green sectors in here. Energy, communications, consumer durables, all right? Just because these guys over here, tech and electronics tech, just because that stuff comes out red, a little bit of retail red, we have some other big blocks in here. We got finance that's big, health technology that's big, consumer services big. We have lots of other sectors that can make up the slack, pull up the slack, and keep S&P from going to a lower low. So, all right. Yeah. All right. Now, cooking on down the list. Small caps. Hanging in here right at the 618 level. Yeah, made a couple of bottoms there. This thing can take off. That would be beautiful to see. Nice three-wave retrace right down to that level and holding So small caps may lead us out of here. Watch for small caps to break out. I'm watching like that 1800 level right there. A little bit higher than this prior high from last week. If we see that start breaking out, that's also where this low is right here, right around 1800. That was support. Now it's resistance. We start breaking up through there, and then 1820 above that. Then the market roadmap line about 1850. You know, those are my levels, my alerts. Those are the things that I'm going to be watching for a breakout in small caps. All right. Oil. Everybody wants to know if oil's on the new run yet. Well, not sure. We only have a 3-wave move up. This thing can pull down again. If it holds a higher low on the next pullback and then breaks out above this, then I'm going to look at least a minimum move up to this roadmap line. Of course, it's going to be coming down a little bit, so we're looking for oil to go back up into the 85s on the next pullback and move higher. So somewhere around the mid 80s. That's my target on oil if it doesn't break down again. Now, if we break lower than 75, well, looks like 74, break lower than 74, we're probably going to reach down into the mid 60s. All right. Coming on down, gasoline finding its head on that prior high from December, early December, December 1st. I think we need to bounce down one more time, and that may take oil with it. Natural gas just looks ugly. Even though we just had an epic winter storm, this thing barely holding a higher low. I don't know. Looks like it's going to go sideways for the rest of the winter. Gold, well, still not getting the pullback we need. Just kind of consolidating in a kind of a higher drift pattern right there. This is the daily pattern on gold. I mean, we had a lot of price action moving, and now it's just kind of boringly drifting higher. So looking for it to pull back to that roadmap line and get a bounce. But right now, just not doing it. So, all right. Let's take some requests, shall we? What you got? Throw it at me here. Before I get into all the requests, look at copper here. Copper's the kind of the canary that tells us the market could be turning. We start breaking out over $4 on copper. That could be making a big difference here. So, you want to look at silver? Let's see if I had silver on here. No, I don't see it. So SLV, it does have potential. It needs a pullback, but silver does have a potential. I would like to see a pullback for a better entry. I am long some January calls out to 24, so I'll take an immediate breakout, but I don't know. Alrighty. Looking at GDX. That one is looking like it could have a breakout. It needs to get out over 30 here. Break out over these highs, and then we do have that resistance from right back over here where it consolidated. So you see where it's the resistance there, right? It's kind of made this point where it's having trouble breaking higher, having trouble breaking into that consolidation it did, and look back even further right there. So it's consolidated here back in January last year, did it again in May this year, and then it's having trouble breaking into it here right now. So it's going to take a breakout over 34 to really get momentum starting to head up in GDX. All right. Tesla looking horrible all the way down through my support zone. Where is the next support zone? Well, that's a good question at this point. Looks like the next zone is right down here. We're already touching the top of it. So it looks like it can head on down to 90. And then the next one down here, that's going to be ugly because that takes us all the way down to 25. So watch out for these. If it's just not holding support, I mean, this one didn't provide any support at all. It just dropped right on through. So we zoom this up. Took it a few days and came on through right down to the next one. Almost gapped down there. So this is following a classic bubble pattern though. Look at this. See this move up right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And right back down. You know what else looks like that? See that one right there? GME. And this one. So be careful. Tesla doesn't have to come back. All right. Be careful. All right. Moving on. I'm not long Tesla anything right now. CVE. Let's zoom this puppy back up. Get the magnifying glass and zoom her up. Buttercup. So looking like we're potentially holding the roadmap line here. Potential bounce. We do need to make a higher high than this 2230 area to get a move on up here. All right. Yeah, Tesla's in free fall. Not too sweet on that one. DAR looks kind of bad right now. That's a bunch of sideways bull crap. Just looking for more of that. All right. That's DAR, MNST. Yeah, looking for a breakout here. This one in Celsius. Looking pretty strong, actually. CL. Celsius. I can't spell Celsius. There it is. Where is it? Celsius Holding. CELH. This one right here. That one and Monster both look like they have a pattern to go higher. Along with KO potentially breaking through this downtrend line that it's had going. And Pepsi. Yeah, that looks a lot like Monster and Celsius right there with that consolidation after poking a higher high. So the drink sector looks pretty hot, all things considered. So, all right, WINN or WYNN, excuse me. Yeah, just consolidating for another breakout. We could see another leg lower though. Be careful. This down, this pull up. I could see one more leg. Control. That looks like that right there. And that might get us really close to this guy. That would be ideal to see it move down, back down to that, hold support, and then move on up again. All right. Next up, I did Tesla. Let's see, BA, Boeing. Yeah, breaking that long-term downtrend again. We had this downtrend cooking for months and months. We'll finally break through it, but getting hung up on this prior high right here. A breakout over 200 is going to be very positive for Boeing. Probably take it back up to the 225 area before we find that next resistance where these highs were right in here, and this consolidation. You know, it was a support zone, and then it was resistance zone right in that 220, 225 area. So watch out for that one to break out over 200. All right. Let's see what else. Who else? Request. Let's see. EURN. Yeah, doing exactly what I thought it was going to do there. Pulling back, getting close to the roadmap line. If it held just above it before, so it can hold in right here, turn up, and make a run for some new higher highs. The next extension, based on the last extension, let's see, let's run a little fib line right here. Looks like around 22 would be the next level up. All right. FE. So we got this resistance right there that we're trying to work through. Hadn't been able to get out of it yet. Rejected it here, came down, back down to the bottom, trying to work through it in there. So a break up through 43.75 looks like. That would be where I put my alert. We start breaking up through there, and that sets it up to move on up. All right, TXN. Yeah, we got, that's kind of sideways and not great right there. More of that's what I would expect. You got this little set of lower highs and this set of kind of higher lows a little bit, and just squeezing out. You know, this come on back here. Yeah, not great on that one. That one can break down or it can break up. That's the watermelon squeeze pattern. All right. IR. Yeah, it looks like that one potentially is set up to break out higher. Now, a lot of machine equipment. CAT, look at that, breaking higher. I have a Nice bull debit spread on CAT. Looking for it to break up to 300. So that one's potentially, CAT, equipment like CAT, DE, Ingersoll Rand. These are all companies that kind of indicate the economy's turning positive, and they usually move before any economic news turns positive. So these are my canaries that are telling me that we're already through this, not a recession, and kind of turning positive here. So that's why I'm also kind of optimistic that we'll see higher highs moving into next year. All right, so that was IR and Otis, OTIS, at the elevator people. Yeah, also looking pretty good. Looks like we have some resistance right in there. I draw it on the chart. It makes sense, right? And look at that. It was support, 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 resistance, bounced down to a lower low, came back up, has not been able to break through. So we need 8250 to at least go try to, work on getting through that resistance right there. And probably not going to break higher highs until we can manage to maintain something over 88 or so on Otis. All right. AMD has been looking pretty horrible. Looks like it's going to reach down to a lower low. NVIDIA and SMH have been much better. See, this looks like it's going lower low to me. It's right back to the top of that consolidation that it did right there. Didn't quite catch the bottom. So it can at least pull back down in this 55 area. It could hold here and bounce up, but right now that is not very strong looking. All right, I just, after looking at hundreds and thousands of charts, that's not very strong. NVIDIA right here, big down today. That's stronger looking because it's not contesting this bottom consolidation. But that pullback look a little iffy right there. SMH doing kind of the same thing. So SMH more following the NVIDIA pattern. On not quite following the same pattern though. This one still has kind of an uptrend of lows cooking, but it's starting to break below it. So caution is advised on ON. All right. PXD. Yeah. Not great, not bad. It's just kind of in this sideways kind of watermelon seed squeeze situation. Yeah, kind of expect it to come up here again and then maybe bounce back down again. That would be my expectation right now on Pioneer. Now we break out over the, if it breaks out, then it can start extending. So right now, that's what we got though. All right, IBM, Alpha, or India, Bravo, Mike. That was a big pullback. Not sure on IBM right now. That is a potential bullish pattern. Let's remove this one that was back there. Potentially bullish, but it's been a lot of sideways. So it's going to have to break back up through 150 to reach out some extensions here, 157, 163. And MUR. And that one is a roadmap line setup right there. Nice 3-wave-ish pullback. A little bit sloppy, but got it. Breaking back up through this consolidation around 47 can lead to a 54 to 57. All right. If I skip anything, I'm sorry. I'm kind of trying to keep track of both chats. This looks like a lot of sideways right there. Just chopping sideways. Not really able to make, look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 times. It's not even like a 3 times my lady situation. It's like a 7 times hard stop. I would not be interested until I saw something on a daily close up here around 105, 106, getting out and getting some continuation, not just rejecting. So, all right, MUR. Yeah, I did that one a second ago. EQT. That looks like it's turning lower. It's gonna looks like it's going to retest this bottom from back here. Not very positive right now. That can hold a low there, and I mean, if it's going to go positive, I'd set alert like at 39.50. But if it breaks 34, 32, if it breaks 32, then we could go retest this from whence it came. This area down here where it consolidated before. Seeing a lot of stuff retracing moves like that, so just be careful. OXY came down to the roadmap line and held. It's gonna have to break up higher, back up through this $70 area to potentially get like 82, 88 on the upside. All right, FANG, FANG. Yeah, same situation. Pulled back right to the roadmap line, back up through 150 to start getting some extensions. I don't have them drawn properly. Let's draw them on here properly. Yeah, back up through 150 minimum to get 179, 192 potentially. Is holding higher lows, so that is somewhat positive. But right now, just parked right there. Now, energy's gotta figure out what it's doing. So that's the big question mark for energy. All right, DLTR. For those of you in Zoom, you wonder where all the tickers are coming from. They're coming out of YouTube. So I got a nice big crowd there today. Glad to see you. All right, DLTR looking like has potential to break down. We're in this big consolidation box. I drew this last week. If we break below the lows, back down here. Otherwise, we'll probably come up here and do that kind of watermelon seed squeeze pattern. That's the expectation right now. Break up or break down, I don't know. DVN, Delta Victor November. Looks like, yeah, it's got some higher lows going. But we got this big resistance box. You know, we kind of popped up out of it, weren't able to make a higher high, right back down into it and below it. So that's still some resistance we got to get up and clear. I'd set my alert up here around 75, and you know, 87 is still like the target up here, 87.98. But it's got to work through whatever crap it's into. Alrighty. Amazon down to 60. I don't know, maybe. Could very well get there, but it's just kind of holding in the support. So I'll put these lines on here, and we're still holding in here. And we're just pushing below that red zone and hanging in here. So I've got this line's like at 81-ish. That was long-term support resistance lines from back here. You know, support right here, dip down to that level, and then down to this level. So we kind of found support there several times, and that was the lowest low. Holding above that is very positive for continuing higher. Otherwise, we can break on down and retest this prior low down here. Nice sloppy, not straight line, right around 66. So yeah, 60 does kind of jive with your Amazon. Down to 60, I don't know if all the way down to 60, 66 at least from this low from 2018. But I'd probably set an alarm at 80. We start breaking below 80, we could see that move down, but otherwise this can be support right here. It's not nearly as free fall as Tesla. So all right, HD was looking pretty sweet. Get a retrace, a nice spike up to the 50%, right where I expect, and pull back. My favorite thing would be to see it pull back just a little bit more in this 305 area. 305, yeah, right around 305. But it can bounce from here and go higher. That's entirely possible. It looks like Echo Trade style right here for those of you that know what I'm talking about. And a little bigger on that move. Have to compare some of these. So I talked about this extensively a couple sessions back. Yeah, same one. So watch for that to hold in this area and bounce and go. All right, ALB. That looks pretty bad. If it doesn't hold here, it's going to return to the low around 170. So be careful. That's like a, what, $40, $45 on down. So be careful on that one. HON. Honeywell. Following a lot of the builder stuff. Funny enough, even though home builders are reporting record problems and stuff like that, a lot of these home builders and machines are starting to turn the corners. You know, Honeywell supplies building equipment, infrastructure. So a lot of these things are kind of turning a little bit, potentially getting better. Just keep an eye on it. All right, let's see. Trying to catch up here. COST. I'm probably not going to make it. Breaking lower. Looks like she's going to go down. How far down? Well, this thing. And 280. That'd be pretty bad, right? Watch out for that one. All right, MU. Yeah, sitting at the lows, so not great. Till some economic good news starts coming out about chips and stuff. I don't expect many of these chip people to start really turn the corner. You know, STX included. You know, see sitting at the lows, so it's going to take a little bit of work on that front. Netflix, yeah, right down to the roadmap. This was like I predicted it was going to come back to this roadmap line, kind of find support here. Then the next move up, break out. If it can break out over that high, then basically break out, filling of the gap fill, then we're going to go up and test the other gap where we gapped down before. So that's Netflix in a nutshell. I did NVIDIA, COP. And bouncing off the roadmap line. This is potentially positive. I think COP was on the roadmap watch list. Now watch out for, most aggressively, you could watch out for a break out through here, roughly 120. But then watch out for this consolidation. It wasn't strong consolidation, but it's chopped in there a couple times. So watch out for that around 130. Up through 130. Looks like we can get the 146, 156 on the upside. Potential. All right, PXS, Phillips. Or no, that's Pikes. I guess PSX was. Yeah, looks like a little echo. That's one of my echo trade type setups right there. Yep, pretty close. Starts breaking up through 5. It could reach out to maybe 630. Low price stuff doesn't work as well as the higher price stuff, but 618, maybe 651 for the next pullback. So BBY, Best Buy, yeah, that's a potential bounce right there. That's the roadmap line type setup. Looks like you need a move up through 85 to potentially reach out to 89 or 92. There you go. And let's see. Still behind NVIDIA. Did COP BDX. Bravo Delta X-ray. So watch out right here. Rejected right off of that. Watch out for another rejection. If we can get a close up above 260, that would be positive for the next move out higher. Yeah, definitely watch out there. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Watch for that thing to bounce down again. All right, CVX, Charlie Victor X-ray. Yeah, looking for a move up through this 182 area. 195 if it's going to do it. Yeah, that's the one I thought I was looking at. Again, didn't make it all the way to the roadmap line, but that one, if it breaks out of this consolidation, potentially extend higher. We got prior lines on here. Remove that junk. So move up through like 108 could take it up to 117, 122 looks like. All right. DVN, I think I did DVN, didn't I? Delta Victor November. Yeah, just kind of holding that uptrend of the lows. Not great. Mora, I'll just tell you right now, crypto looks pretty horrible. The hash rate on the pay rate per hash is at an all-time low, and until Bitcoin moves up, none of the miners are looking great. In fact, a lot of them can go out of business. So be careful on that. Now, there is a halving event expected, and I'm not going to tell you anything on the charts for those right now. So I see a couple people asked for Mora and other crypto. It just looks pretty bad right now. They're all down at the lows and potentially going to break lower if Bitcoin doesn't come off of it. It's either going to take a major removal of hash rate or Bitcoin's price going back up into the $30,000 to $50,000 area at the minimum, and neither of those seem highly likely at this very moment when Bitcoin is under 17,000. So right there, 16,686 right now. Until we can break back up into this 20s at least, get back above the roadmap line, all of crypto, Ethereum included, is going to be pretty horrible. Bitcoin is like 40% or more of the entire value of crypto, and without its support, the rest of crypto is not going anywhere. So long and the short. All right. LMT, looking for the pop. Right up to here. That's the target area. Consolidating, but looking for a nice little pop up in this 520 area. 515, 520. All right. FNGU. Pushing lows. That looks pretty horrible. That a reverse split. Yep. Reverse splits are bearish long term. So that's going to make a lower low. It's going to go back down to wherever it was, $1. Yep. All right. UVXY. And these are all decaying assets. They're all like FNGU, UVXY, Boyle. Those are all decaying. They're just going to keep decaying. All these leveraged in ETFs are all basically decaying. If you don't understand what that means, you should look up decaying assets. Carvana is probably going to go bankrupt. CarMax is probably going to have a hard time. It spiked down on earnings, but then has found a little bit of buying. But it's probably going to do the Amazon thing, float a little bit, and then roll over again. I had a trade on this, looking for a continuation down. It didn't do it. It spiked down in reverse, so I closed my trade for a couple, made a couple bucks. Didn't make much, like $40, I think. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, Amazon, it spiked down, bounced up, and then drifted off. So that's what I think CarMax may do. And actually, the earnings was back here, and it spiked down and back up. So it did a spike down, back up, spike down, back up, and drift off. So that may be what CarMax does. So be careful on CarMax. Lenders lent too much money on cars, and it's going to cause some fallout. So Apple. So we got 540. Do a few more, and then we'll wrap this puppy up. All right, Apple still looking for these target zones right here. It's probably going to get there, like 124 and 112 below that. I had a 180 call, and it decided it wasn't going to do that. Held the roadmap line, pushing lower. Extensions are down here. So that's what we got right now. Probably going to 125, 124 area at the minimum. And then down here around 113 to 115, I guess that's 110 to 115. It's the next bubble down. Alrighty. LMT, I think I already did that one, I thought. Yeah. And AG. Just kind of stuck on the roadmap line here. till it breaks above this stuff right here. We're not going anywhere. I see that was like back here. Used to be support, was support, and then crushed down below it. Now it's resistance until it breaks up above it. You know, set your alert at 10 until it gets above 10. It's not going anywhere. Alrighty. Well, that's going to wrap it up, everybody. Thanks for being with me in 2022. Hope I see you again in 2023. All right. Thanks for coming. This has been 30 Minutes Awesome. It's been awesome being with you all year. I'll be back again next week for 2023. So if you're watching the replay, check out the video over there. And I will see you again next week.